So we all know that the bank of mum and dad is very helpful when getting into the property market. But if you don't have the bank of mum and dad, are you screwed, or do you still have a chance to, I guess, keep up with your peers? So the AFR this morning released a very interesting article talking about the difference between two identical people who graduate from university, one with the help of the bank of mum and dad and one without, and how this affects them long term. And the slightly clickbaity headline is that the bank of mum and dad will effectively have you $1.4 million better off by retirement if you're able to tap into a $100,000 gift early in life versus if you're unable to do so. So I went through the article and I wanted to make a few quick points. I've got a few of the details behind me in the background, but the key assumptions are basically two identical people, Sarah and Adam, graduate from university this year. They're both law graduates. They both graduate with $97,000 a year jobs. They rent an apartment or rent a room in an apartment for $350 a week. They spend $450 a week in other expenses. They've got HECS debts of $50,000, and all of their expenses and wages, etc., are indexed to inflation. So they slowly get pay rises over time. And this article compares, I guess, what happens to the two of them. So in the article, after about 2 years, Sarah's saved about $40,000. Now I understand she's on a higher than average starting wage, etc., etc., but the premise remains she saved $40,000. She gets a gift from her parents of $100,000, and with that now $140,000, she's got a 20% deposit, which allows her to get into the market in Sydney on a $700,000 unit. Now, that's all correct so far. If you're a first-time buyer under $1 million in Sydney, you don't pay any stamp duty, and so those figures all stack up. Now, that's great for Sarah. Where the numbers don't quite work out is when they use Adam as a comparison. So for some reason, Adam now has to save 20%. And so as a result, he doesn't get into the property market until 2033, which means he's 6 years of capital growth behind Sarah and 6 years of building equity behind Sarah. So he's pretty heavily disadvantaged. Now, what this doesn't take into account is that there are schemes out there that specifically exist to help people who don't have the bank of mum and dad. So in this instance, Adam would qualify for the first home guarantee scheme, which allows people who make under $125,000 a year to enter the property market with a 5% deposit, which means that Adam would only need $35,000 deposit to get into the same $700,000 property Sarah has. Now his mortgage is going to be a little bit higher and it's going to be a little bit tougher for him, but he can actually enter the property market at the exact same time as someone who does have the help of the bank of mum and dad.